Hi everyone, I'm Lexi, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all a topic I think is very important for everyone to have some sort of knowledge on. The title of my speech is Bras Aren't the Only Support Your Breasts Need. The objective for this speech today is to educate everyone on the benefits of breastfeeding, tips for successful breastfeeding, why it should be more of a norm in society, and how to provide support for mothers who are having trouble with it. My presentation objectives will be achieved by providing factual information and statistics, demonstrating different breastfeeding positions that are easy for anyone to remember, and providing a video clip on the need for education regarding breastfeeding. There are many health benefits associated with breastfeeding for both the mother and the baby. Health benefits as per the American Academy of Pediatrics 2019 include protecting against illnesses in the infant, including bacteremia, diarrhea, respiratory tract infections, necrotizing enterocolitis, otitis media, urinary tract infections, late onset sepsis in preterm infants, type 1 and type 2 diabetes, lymphoma, leukemia, and childhood obesity. Health benefits for mothers who are breastfeeding as per the American Pediatrics 2019 include decreased postpartum bleeding, more rapid uterine involution, in other words, the uterus going back to normal after delivery of the baby, decreased menstrual blood loss, increased child spacing because breastfeeding acts as a normal form of contraception, earlier return to pre-pregnancy weight, and decreased risk of cancers such as breast and ovarian. According to the American Journal of Health Studies, the American Academy of Pediatrics issued a statement reaffirming its recommendation to breastfeed exclusively for approximately 6 months and continued breastfeeding for 1 year of age or longer. A study done in Tennessee by the American Journal of Health Studies concluded that in the United States, roughly 76% of mothers initiate breastfeeding, and only about 34% of mothers are still breastfeeding at 1 year of life. These low statistics should cause concern for our country as they are much higher in relation to other countries throughout the world. The American Journal of Health Studies found that these low rates and early termination of breastfeeding are associated with various factors including return to work, lactation difficulties, concerns regarding infant nutrition, maternal illness or medications, and the extra effort required to pump breast milk. Breastfeeding education should be provided to all mothers and families who are expecting children. Knowledge of breastfeeding and educating families is key to improving the low rates of continued breastfeeding in the United States. This video clip I'm about to show you guys provides the basic education that should be discussed with expecting parents.
The thing we see a lot of times is that one, the mother's just never thought of it because someone in the family has just said, oh, we're not going to breastfeed. It may be that the mother wasn't a breastfed child and no one in their family ever breastfed, so that's a very foreign concept. I mean, I think once women really have the education and we as a society grow a little bit better because, you know, in America, you don't breastfeed your child in public. You know, you don't do that in the mall. Everybody reads in the newspaper, you know. We kind of have to get over that because this is nurturing the child. But it's just like what happened in the bathrooms with the baby changing stations. You know, about 15 years ago, all the tables got put in. Well, we're going to get to that point with breastfeeding, okay, where there's a place for the baby, they're a part of society. So the education is key. Our younger generation, which are a little bit more health conscious, a lot of those moms will want to breastfeed. And that's across all socioeconomic groups. I've had very, very poor people come in and want to breastfeed. I've had very wealthy people want to come in and breastfeed. So we're getting the message out. And it also takes just a lot of people, it takes a lot of family support. Those first-time breastfeeding mothers, it's very hard. I mean, you know, we talk about how natural it is and all the prenatal classes. The reality of it is, for a first-time mother, it's a learning process. She has never breastfed before, and the baby has never breastfed before. So the first couple of days can be tough. So it really takes a lot of support. All the hospitals that are really active in breastfeeding have lactation consultants. These are nurses that are specifically trained to help moms with breastfeeding. Pediatricians are really pushing it. All the regular nurses are really pushing it. And so where we need to get is that the families need to support. When that mom makes a decision to breastfeed, they need to do everything they can. That includes the dad, significant other, and the other family members to support her because it's tough. Those first couple of days are really hard. But if we can get breastfeeding established, by the end of that first week, then that baby and that mom are going to do much better.
Other family members and friends being educated on the topic can aid in their understanding of maternal struggles while breastfeeding and improve the support they provide for them. The International Journal of Childbirth Education identifies populations that are most at risk for low breastfeeding rates. The International Journal of Childbirth Education also discusses the importance of social support and education especially in groups that are at higher risk for not breastfeeding. According to a study completed by the International Journal of Childbirth Education, women living in poverty, younger mothers, and non-Hispanic Black women were less likely to have ever breastfed. The study correlates the low breastfeeding rates among specific populations in geographic areas with the lack of positive messages of the public eye. This study emphasizes the importance of social support and education in initiating breastfeeding, particularly in groups that are at higher risk for not breastfeeding. It also emphasizes the need for breastfeeding support upon discharge from the hospital and public acceptance for all breastfeeding mothers. The American Journal of Health Studies correlates good support to improve breastfeeding outcomes. They identify forms of breastfeeding support as providing sufficient paid time off to establish comfort levels with breastfeeding, public awareness and acceptance of positive health outcomes associated with breastfeeding, and support groups for mothers. Lactation support groups and similar services are provided in most communities throughout the United States. In Buffalo, New York, there is a community agency called Care Connection that aims to help lactating women in various ways. Care Connection is located on Harlem Road in Amherst, New York, and serves the Western New York population. The phone number for this agency is 716-725-6370. The purpose of Care Connection is to work with the baby's pediatrician, obstetric offices, Western New York hospitals, and home health care agencies to provide a personalized plan of care for breastfeeding mothers. This agency provides prenatal and postpartum education on breastfeeding by holding frequent classes at flexible times for mothers. Care Connection strives to ensure each breastfeeding mother who uses their services is using the proper equipment and supplies that their baby needs. Anyone who is breastfeeding or planning to breastfeed is able to utilize the services this agency provides, and a plethora of insurances cover the cost of it. The agency provides an inviting, friendly, and relaxing atmosphere to ensure full comfort for mothers utilizing the agency services. And now that you're all educated on agencies such as Care Connection, you can recommend this agency or a similar one in your community to a mother you know who is struggling with breastfeeding. In addition to being aware of community agencies that mothers can use, family and friends of breastfeeding mothers having simple breastfeeding knowledge can aid in providing better support for struggling mothers. After my maternity rotation this semester, I learned that not every mother has breastfeeding success using the same breastfeeding position. A position change can go a long way and is a simple piece of advice and support anyone can offer to breastfeeding mothers who are having trouble. I'm going to demonstrate to you all breastfeeding positions that are very easy to remember. Using my very realistic child, I'm going to demonstrate two different feeding positions. The first position is the cradle hold. The cradle hold is most commonly used and is a stereotypical picture that probably comes to your mind when you visualize a breastfeeding mother. To facilitate support underneath the baby, a pillow can be used for both of these positions. The pillow can be placed right under here on top of the mother's lap. For the cradle hold, you just hold the baby like you typically see somebody holding a baby, like this, and make sure you're supporting the baby's head with either your elbow or with your arm, like this. The second position is called the football hold. While in my maternity rotation, many mothers were hesitant to try this position to feed because it wasn't the normal position. Once they tried the position, some found it easier and their child was able to feed better. So for the football hold, you support the child on partially your lap and you can place a pillow underneath, but you sit in either a bed or a larger chair and the baby goes next to you just like this, and you hold the baby around you with the head obviously at the breast. Making breastfeeding a norm in society should be a widespread goal of everyone in the United States and can be achieved through education. Everyone should advocate for this, as it is super important for new babies and new mothers. The International Journal of Childbirth Education discusses the public discrimination that breastfeeding mothers receive. Events called Nursins have been held as campaigns to advocate for breastfeeding through awareness and exposure. Nursins and hashtags used on social media coined "Milk is my superpower" and "not covering up" has brought widespread attention to the discrimination that breastfeeding mothers receive in public. With public awareness and acceptance of breastfeeding, more mothers would likely continue breastfeeding for the recommended duration. I'd like to thank you all for watching my presentation. I hope you were able to take away from this speech the health benefits of breastfeeding for mothers and babies, the importance of public awareness and acceptance of breastfeeding, and the need for support that correlates with breastfeeding success. Remember, bras aren't the only support your breasts need.